Well, good morning. Welcome back for another video. Yeah, it is morning, so that's why I started with that, even though you may watch this some other time during the day. But, you know, got up this morning, came out to a place I've been before. Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know if you can see here, but off in the distance there's this tree that sits out in this field. Just before I left to go to the Outer Banks, I happened to drive by here, and this field was all, in front of it was all covered with wildflowers. Today there's none. I don't know if that's just because I missed them or if it's because of, the floods that took place. I didn't get a chance to come out here and see, exactly how bad or how close the water came here to the road. But, just on the other side of it's kind of hard to see, but there's a line of trees down there. On the other side of those trees is the Ohio River. So a few weeks ago we had, terrible flooding in this area, and it very well could have come all the way up in here and taken care of my wildflowers. Maybe not. But anyway, we're going to, as the sun's coming up, got kind of some nice detail out here in the sky. Let's see if we can capture an image. And then what we'll do is we're going to talk about how I have made my 40 to 150 F2.8 Pro lens the best lens I have. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. Really nice warning. Wasn't sure there was going to be any color or any clouds in the sky, but that's proven to not be an issue. It's actually pretty nice out. Really nice, actually. Nice. It's always fun when you hit yourself in the face with your camera. It's always nice when you're not paying attention. Alright, what program are we in? We're in P. Alright, so here's one of those examples of one of the things I don't like about the autofocus clutch. Sitting here trying to figure out why I can't get the focus on a tree, and it's because the clutch is disengaged or engaged, however you want to look at it. And of course, so it's in manual focus. Now we'll fix that here now, so we can at least see out here what we got going on. So we'll see what we get. We got a lot of color coming up here, but not sure what I'm going to get out of the tree. So we are using the 40 to 150, all right, f2.8. It's an Olympus lens, currently Olympus is OM systems, all right. And the reason why we're doing that is I want to try to zoom in more and get a little, simplify the image if I can. All right, now I'm at 40 right now, but I am not. All right, so let's talk about what we're doing here as far as photographing this particular scene, which I'm having a real hard time this morning with my eyes seeing the image itself. I don't know why. I don't know if anybody else experiences that, but I do. Let's see what I got here. Now we're going to zoom all the way in. And we're going to take and make a little bit of an adjustment to our focus point. I know we're on the tree. We're about a half a second, really. Where we're at this morning at ISO 200. Now, I'm loving the pink though out here in the sky. Really enjoying that. Not gonna kid anybody, I really like that. So the light's coming up, and as that happens, you gotta constantly mess with your settings, your shutter speed. You know, I try not to adjust my aperture. So again, this morning we're shooting at, you know, F2.8, and we're about a half a second. Playing with it a little bit though, just to see what I can get. Now here, maybe I can, I don't know if it'll do it or not, but let's take and here and we'll video with this camera here while I'm talking to this one, so you can kind of see what I am looking at. Conditions are great. Just not so sure. You know, I don't know about you guys, but as I get older, my eyes just don't work very well. I don't know how else to say it, other than they just don't work that great in the morning. So I have a hard time sometimes actually seeing. Of course, I don't know why I'm doing it this way. I have a hard time telling if the image I'm taking is in focus or not. You know, it just becomes a real challenge for me. You know, years ago I didn't have that problem, but now I do. Yeah. All right, so what did I do here, you know, to make this a better lens? If you remember, hold on a second, let me get this out. If you remember, I said that the thing that bothered me the most about this lens was the tripod collar and the fact that you had to put a plate on the bottom of it. All right, you know, you can see here's the tripod collar I'm talking about. You can see the base. Well, what I did was I found on Amazon this replacement. I think the name of the company is Hogue. All right, it was about $45. All right, but with that, as you can see, you get a built-in tripod, not only the tripod collar, but it's already got the Arca Swiss mount built into it, which I think is what's missing from this lens. The optics and everything are fantastic. That's never a problem. All right, but having a little bit bigger foot, I mean, if you look here, you can see it's much bigger with the built-in, all right, Arca Swiss setup. Makes it really easy to mount it on your tripod. You know, you don't have to carry the extra plate, which means you can carry a little less weight. You know, and it just makes this the way the lens should have been to start with, in my honest opinion. All right, it's the way it. I really wish I wouldn't have had to buy it, but I found it. You know, and I thought I'd give it a shot, and quite frankly, I love it. You know, this is a great lens, and now it's really great because I don't have to, you know, carry an extra plate, and at the same time, you know, I can eliminate some of these extra plates that I carry in my bag, so it reduces some of my weight. You know, which to me is very important. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I view it. I think it's really important, all right, to not have to carry all that weight. Light's still coming up, but it's beautiful. So I want to try to eliminate it, and I've done it by this. So anybody out there who has this lens, if you're concerned about the same thing, look this up. I got it right off of Amazon. All right, I don't think it has a number on it, but it just says lens tripod ring from Hogue. And all I did was I went into Amazon and I just put in there, you know, tripod, you know, ring for a Olympus, you know, 40 to 150 F2.8 Pro lens, and this is what came up. And so it gave me the opportunity to try it, and quite frankly, I love it. You know, so if you're interested, please look this thing up. You know, it's not ridiculously priced, and it makes the lens exactly the way it should have been right from the beginning. So now, what we'll do here, I'm gonna take a couple more images. If any of these turn out worth a darn, I'll put them in here for you to see. Really enjoying the color this morning. And one of the nice things, you know, about a lens like this is you have the ability to make some adjustments because you have the tripod collar that you don't have with other, you know, lenses that don't have it. It's just a little easier to make some of those fine adjustments, which I enjoy. Alright, so I think what we'll do before we close out this video is we're going to move to another location, see if we can capture something else this morning before we wrap up. Now, man, it's great being out. Absolutely just glorious morning. Wow. I know you can't see because you're on a tripod, but see if I can get you loose here so you can look out again. I mean, if you look out here, it's just spectacular. Now, it's what makes getting up early in the morning fun. So anyway, let's move on here to see if I can find a different spot. Maybe we can capture something else this morning. All right, so thanks for coming along, everybody. Let's see what we can do. All right, so we've moved to a different location. Again, place we've been before, just much different conditions. All right. I'm trying to cross the road here. I don't want to get hit by a car. So what are we here for? Well, first of all, if you look off to the side here, you can see the sun is up. All right, coming through the trees. Beautiful golden light this morning. All right, and let's look out here. Now, the last time we were here, I took a shot over here towards this pond and these trees after filming across the street, or recording across the street, all right, at the cemetery, and it was an incredibly foggy day. You couldn't even tell that house or even all these fields were here. All right, but there's a barn, as you can see, way off in the distance there, an old barn that I want to try to photograph. So we're going to set up, and try to do that. So let's see what we can get. All right, so I put the camera here on a tripod. All right, I've got my 1 Mark II and my 40 to 150 f2.8. Don't have any teleconverter on it this morning. Again, here you can see the actual new ring I've got here. You can see that You know, what I like about it is the size. Makes it a little bit easier to hold on to. Balances a little bit better with it. And in more like shot like this, I will take and turn it up just because I still prefer to put my hand underneath. But there's this barn over here I want to try to capture here as this light's coming up. See what we can get. You know, still shooting. This is 1/30th of a second. You know, handheld. The thing to remember here is with, you know, the image stabilization, you know, inside the OM1 Mark II, and really any of the Olympus or OM Systems cameras, you got really the best in-body stabilization of any of the cameras out there. So we're gonna take a couple images here of that barn. All right, so now look over here, you can see the sun coming through the trees. So I'm just going to take a shot here and see if I can get it with a sun star. To do that, you got to be at least from my experience, f/16. All right, so I'm going to be at f/16. We're at 1/60th of a second. I don't know if we're going to get it. I don't know what kind of flare we're going to get, but we're going to mess with it and try it just to see what we get. Now, image may not be much, especially the power lines here in the fence, but still the idea is see how it works shooting directly into the sun, something I haven't done. I'm sure there'll be some flare here, but it is still something you should test the lens for, and something I like to do. The other thing to remember here is I'm right by the road, so I got a lot of road noise. Sorry about that, but that is kind of what happens when you put yourself right by the road. So anyway, got a couple images there. If one of those turns out, all right, or any of the other images I'm taking here, if they turn out, I'll put them in right now so you can see them. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take, and let's go, I've been shooting at f/8, let's drop all the way to f2.8. How about that? Let's see what we can get. There we go. So the difference now is we're still at ISO 200, but we're coming up to 1/500th of a second from a shutter speed, which is, you know, for me, that's really unusual. I don't normally shoot like that. So a comment I want to put in here, you know, I mentioned in a previous video, you know, that I got rid of the adventure wagon and went to what I call the adventure Jeep, and one of my viewers put a comment in about, you know, Jeep stands for just empty every pocket. I never heard that. You know, I mean, I got one heck of a great laugh out of that. So it definitely was a good chuckle. I appreciate that. You know, something I learned something new every day. That was fun. You know, I appreciate that comment. And if anybody wants to throw something else in like that, man, I absolutely just enjoy that stuff. You know, it is somewhat true though. I mean, it's not because of there's no issues with, you know, how reliability, at least not that I've run into yet. I've only had it a month, but a little over a month. But I can tell you that you buy little things here and there, kind of like this Jeep sweatshirt I got on, you know, and I've got I bought a couple little things for inside the cab, you know, to you know, decorate it up a little bit, you know, different colored knobs and things like that, you know, and I just ordered some, you know, new LED headlights for it. you know, that adds up, because I've got halogens. I really don't like them. I wanted to go to LEDs, so so, you know, before, and I ordered a cup, you know, that says Jeep on it, which my wife gave me hell for, which I paid $18 for, just because it had the Jeep logo on it. So it is interesting as you go about things. You don't realize it, but they can start adding up, you know. So I'm sure that that phrase, just empty every pocket, is probably going to end up being true based on everything that I'm seeing so far, you know, with this particular you know, endeavor into being a Jeep owner. But I'll end the video here. You know, sorry for rambling. You know, just wanted to get out and test this some more, and I wanted to show you what I'd done to it, which I really truly think is the way it should have been to begin with. But, you know, OM Systems, if you see this video, please listen. You know, change it to something like this. This is a much better way, you know, for this lens to be set up. You know, but thanks for coming along, everybody. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, if you're new, you know, it's, you know, I try to get out when I can and take images, and, you know, just share kind of my adventures in trying to capture images, you know, as I work a full-time job. I don't have a lot of spare time because I work a lot of hours in a week, and typically I can only get up early in the morning and, you know, on a weekend and get out, and, you know, so it's kind of great to, you know, to be able to make a video here and there and share some of these experiences. Hopefully people appreciate it. You know, and again, it's the idea here is to be like, you know, every person, you know, just any individual. I'm not a professional. I just share with what I, you know, what I do when I get a chance to get out. So maybe give you some ideas for what you can do. But thanks for coming along. Appreciate every single one of you. Until we see you again, stay safe.